Tell me about the first 3 days.
The first 3 days were tough. Harder than expected on the whole, I guess. Day one on the beach was a bit of a southeast wind, so that's headwind and side wind, and hot and slow. And we ended up being on the beach a lot longer than we wanted to be, which means that we ran out of water with at least an hour to go. So we battled our way through. We did it, but certainly in worse shape than we wanted to be after day one. So that was a bit of a tough start. We knew it would be like that. Everybody said it's pretty tough on the beach, and you never get a tailwind. We didn't get a tailwind. So yeah, that was day one. Started pretty tough.
And then what?
And then it was day two.
Yes.
Day two was an even bigger day. We'd hoped to go a bit further in day one. We'd hoped to, if the beach was a breeze, go another 35k, another couple of hours up to Broadwood. But we didn't. There's no way that was happening. So day two started in Ahipara, and it was going to be a long day, a lot of climbing. On paper, the biggest day of the whole trip. And was not feeling good after the beach. Pretty dehydrated. Starting to struggle with food, didn't throw up, which was great. I wasn't sick, which was good, but the idea of food, the idea of eating something just made me sick. So keeping enough calories in, keeping enough food in was a real battle. Just every time we stopped, made myself eat something. It wasn't enough, but it was something to keep going. And by the time we got through most of the day, another real hot day, bit of gravel road, got to the ferry at Whanganui, and we were pretty exhausted. We just missed that ferry by about 10 minutes, so we had to wait a whole another hour. That was good. We got to eat some food, we had to have a bit of a rest, but it meant the day dragged out a bit longer. Carried on to Openoni, where by then we were pretty cooked. I couldn't even tell you what the time was. 3 o'clock, I think, when we got there. Big feed at the supermarket. Tried to eat as much real food as we could. Really forced it in. And we made the call at 4 o'clock that yes, we would carry on through the forest up past Tane Mahuta, which was a big climb. It's a big, I think it's about 450 metres of climbing, that single climb, along with the other ups and downs along the way. And that was hard. Put us in a bit of a dark spot, particularly me, I think, at that time on that day. But at the same time, we got up there pretty much on sunset, through the forest, coming on down through the trees. Really cool piece of road, no traffic, the sun was setting, still an hour away from the finish. But we did it. We'd made it up that 2,500 metres of climbing that day. I don't know what we finished on, 140 something k. In the dark, got in at 9 o'clock, and we had another big day ahead of us. So day 1 and 2 were tough. Day 3 was even tougher.
Where did your mind go on day 3?
So day 3 was up early again from the Gold Coast Holiday Park. A cruise into Dargaville. Nice, perfect gravel roads. Nice, cool morning. Started pretty well, but again battled to get through my breakfast. So battled to eat. And by the time we got the 35-40k to Dargaville, I was absolutely cooked. I'd hit the wall. I'd bonked by 9 o'clock in the morning. I wandered around the supermarket trying to find something to eat. I couldn't think straight. I couldn't choose anything. I got a iced coffee, and I can remember a banana. That's what it was. That's what I could get in me, and I was pretty much ready to call it on the ferry. So this day we're heading to Puto Point, which is another 70k on from Dargaville, and we have to get there by 4 o'clock. There's no option. We don't get there by 4 o'clock. We miss the charter boat, and essentially we have to ride all the way back to Dargaville. So I thought we'd lost it. I thought the state I was in, I couldn't mentally think how long it was going to take us, how fast we'd have to go. I couldn't do all that maths that I do all day, every day on my bike to keep my mind busy. That part of my mind had gone. So I asked Heather, really. She just said, we have to. What's the other option? And she's right. There was no other option, and it was doable. On paper it was doable, but I just couldn't see that in my head at the time. So we just started.
And of course it was, unless you really are not okay to go any further. So I didn't
know.
Would have made him go.
I didn't know the answer to that at the time. And
it was a really good day.
It was a good day.
Really good day.
Traffic just got better and better and better the further we get out on the peninsula there. It was really nice, really cool scenery, really nice road. It was Tāsio Road most of the way, which was good. That was a really positive. And by the time the gravel road came, it was 10 to 12k left. The hills did get steeper, it did get slower, but by that time we'd made up enough time that I could see that it was going to be doable.
We had like an hour to spare.
We did, which was perfect to sit in the shade, drink some water, top up on some stuff, and wait for the boat. Yeah. So,
well, that's our first 3 days.
Yeah, Northland done.
Right. Now the fun bits. What about days 3 to 7, the second half of the week?
3 to 7 started in Auckland, the other side of the charter, across the Kaipara. I guess I started to feel better, which is really unlike me because I normally feel sick on boats, and that's where I started to feel better. So with a bit of time to really think about it and start to work out how far we've come and how far we're going, a bit of time on the boat, a 3-hour boat ride, it was really good to just sit with some thoughts and process it and realise what we'd done was actually pretty amazing, and if we can manage the food a bit better, we can get through this whole thing a whole lot easier. So the next day was so much better. It really was. We're making our way through Auckland. Pretty busy day, through traffic, through lots of cycleways, which were great. Really good cycleways. Good people. Saw a lot more cyclists. Bit of support, which was really cool. Really cool to see people cheering for you. Kind of recognise the loaded up bikes and knowing that we were doing the TA, knowing what we were doing. That was really cool. Started to eat a bit more food, which was great. So just on the whole, the mindset was just a whole lot better going forward. Yeah. It's a bit wet today. Day 4?
Yeah, sure.
Day 4. Got to see some family, which is cool, uncle and auntie and my gran. So I think that was a big lift, to see some friendly faces, and got to some flats as well, some flat riding, cheering through some Ks, so that really lifted, one, the pace, and two, just morale in general. Which brings us through to the Waikato, where it starts to get hilly again, but fun in a good way, ups and downs, through to the Waikato River Trails, where amazing views, really cool places, again some pretty good accommodation there, which was great, again lifted spirits a little bit. Eating real food now is fine, so by the time we get to day 4, 5 and 6, the nutrition we're all over it. We're drinking well, we're eating well, sleep, we could still sleep better, but it's just the whole system is working a bit better, which is great. much a full day on the trails to finish out day 7, which was really cool. Amazing spot up in the native forest, up to the highest point, which was close to 1,000 metres. Bit of climbing to get up to there, which was a bit of a battle, but we knew it was a hard day and we knew it was going to be a slog all the way, and we got there and just grind away, and it's good.
Day 6 and 7 had lots of like trails, hills, squirrely bits, holding on for dear life in some bits, technical things outside my comfort zone, but were really fun, but a challenge. Like, I think I had to jump off my bike twice and push.
Which is absolutely amazing for me to watch, for Heather to only get off her bike twice on this really technical mountain bike trail, really, on her loaded up gravel bike, was really cool. It was really inspiring to she just was charging, really, and steep hills, steep downhills, steep uphills, loose stuff, like she says, handle it all in her stride, and just so motivated to get through, so positive the whole way. That kind of riding is right up my alley. I was really enjoying the riding, knowing that it would be tough for Heather, but she was right there every time I turned around. She's there charging up the hill behind me, making it way further up the steep 20% plus grades than I thought she would. Really, really cool to see. Yeah, it gave me a lot just watching her do that.
It was really hard. I feel like I can't use my fingers, but it was a good challenge. But it was also really hard seeing how long 1 kilometre would take. Oh my goodness, how do we have 18 more of these?
Definitely the slowest portion of the trip.
It's
so
very
far.
slow, very hard. But the fun bits were so fun, and I can see why people love it. And I could think about back when I was like 17, 18 years old and I went mountain biking. There's a reason why I got into it. So yeah, I think that kicks in, and I do enjoy it. So week 2 started with...
Mountains to see. So, yeah, heading into Whakahoro. through the Mountains of Sea Trail, really, but a single track through to the bridge to nowhere.
That was pretty fun. There were some really tight bits and really steep bits and really narrow bridges that were pretty terrifying, but so fun. We got to ride with one of the a fellow TA rider, Amy. That was
which
really
was cool.
fun.
We'd leapfrogged with them a little bit before, so this was kind of the first full day riding with someone else.
Yeah, so Amy
really
and
cool.
Zoe, shout out to you guys. You pushed us, and it was a lot of fun.
It was, yeah. I think that's one of my highlights so far of the whole trip, is that single track climb and then a single track descent down into the bridge to nowhere. There's a few grotty four-wheel drive trails thrown in the mix, but overall really, really cool trail. And again, just watching the girls crashing the single track, it's just really cool. Conditions were great, which is good. It's one of those ones that you don't want to be doing when it's wet. Hadn't rained for a long time, so it was really, really good. And then it brought us out to the bridge to nowhere. Really cool little spot.
Very cool.
And jump on a jet boat, bikes on the jet boat, and shoot on down the river, which was really, really fun.
And it was nice. There have been like 8 of us that pretty much met at that first ferry.
Yeah, more than a week prior. That had been leapfrogging each other, like I say, and all met up again for the same jet boat ride.
Yeah, that was really cool. And from there we decided, because it was only about a 40 kilometre mountain bike ride, really.
Yeah.
We decided to push on for an extra 80 kilometres once we got off the jet boat, which felt like a really good decision. The first 40 was so strong, but then the last 40 struggled.
That's a long way to do in the afternoon,
Yeah.
after 3 o'clock, to chuck in an extra 80k. We thought the weather was going to pack in that afternoon, so after we'd done the single track, after we'd done the jet boat, we thought we were going to stay there, but the weather was really good, really nice. The weather wasn't going to come until the evening, so pushing on that night was the right decision, but pretty challenging after an already pretty big day.
Yeah, but we did it, made it.
Yeah. And that led into the kind of next half of that week was through the Manawatu down into the Wairarapa. Quite similar, 2 or 3 days there that were heaps of gravel roads, heaps of quiet back roads, really cool countryside, just rolling green hills, really nice farmland, kind of traversing along the Simbridge top, so some really, really cool views. Lots of climbing, not massive hills, but lots of climbing. You're just always up and down and up and down.
That is pretty much the North Island. It's like you go up, you come down, you go up, you come down, like the entire 2 weeks.
And then finishing out the North Island, down through Palmerston North, carrying on down through, where did we end up? Masterton.
Yummy coffee.
Yeah, that was probably the best coffee stop we had through there.
Coffee and a vegan sausage roll.
Very cool.
And a lovely lady.
Yeah. And it's kind of where we started realising that we do need to stop and just eat more real food. Food's been great going through, but just stopping for a coffee, slowing down a little bit in the morning, especially around that time, 10, 11 o'clock, have a coffee, have some real food, take a break for a decent amount of time, and we can still chew some Ks out. Especially down there, the roads were starting to flatten out again.
Yes.
We had some okay wind there for a bit, pushing us along, so we did a couple of big days to finish out the North Island, where the wind helped. And especially on the last day, it helped for a good chunk of the day, and then it didn't.
He lies. A good chunk of the day. I think he over exaggerates the tailwind. It was like 10% of the day.
By the time we got to the headwind, it was bad. It was a really big push for at least a couple of hours to get across back to the Rematakas, where we had to do the last little climb up and over through the rail trail there into the Hutt Valley.
And that was a really cool trail.
Yeah.
Like, really good gradient, but with the headwind, it just added the extra bit of...
Coming down the valley, we felt we were home and hosed, kind of from the top of the Rematakas down through to Hutt Valley, through to Wellington. It was a long way, it's about 50k, but should all be downhill.
Yeah.
But with the headwind, it didn't feel like it. So we ended up having a really big day. It was one of our longest days.
Yeah, 191 kilometres.
Longest in kilometres, definitely,
Yeah.
and probably equal with our longest time on the bike, over 12 hours that day.
We had a friend guide us home.
Really cool, yeah.
The last 40 kilometres.
Sit on James's wheel all the way down Nahat Valley through into Wellington, to not think about where to go, not think about the turns, not constantly looking at the head unit. It was just follow on, have a catch up to, have a chat, and it was good to talk to someone outside our little world for a bit. Really cool to land in a spot that felt really comfortable too. Comfortable staying with friends, get all the chores done, have an actual rest day. So we did do in Wellington. We stayed that night and we didn't really bike anywhere. It's Wellington, so there's always a little bit of biking. There's always a couple of hills. I think we rode about 10k that day back to the ferry.
First stopping at Goods to see my friend from New York, who has an amazing cafe and hooked us up with the most amazing chocolate chip cookies and beautiful sandwiches to fuel us for our day 14. Got on the ferry, had 3.5 hours to try to relax, do some admin, figure out where we're staying, where we're going.
Yeah, book some hotels, book some Airbnbs, just kind of stuff that we hadn't really thought about the South Island yet at all, so it's good to have a bit of a catch up. And
as we rolled into Picton, it was cold and grey and still howling.
Just like we hit the South Island.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a stereotype, but it got cold as soon as we hit the South Island.
Yeah,
really cold.
So we were pleased we made the decision to stay there for the night. Again, relax, do some admin, have an early night for once, and get a decent sleep, which was exactly what we both needed.
Yeah.
And that ended our North Island tour.
Yeah.
And 13 days to get from Cape Reinga to Wellington, which is pretty cool.
Really, really cool. That was pretty much as I'd hoped, and didn't think we would do it. Thought there would be some weather days or some down days. Just really cool, really amazing to tick that one off.
All right.
Nice one.
Yeah, we'll catch up in the South Island after we eat our ice cream and dinner and all that jazz. So catch you next time.